Good morning, team. Interesting day in the market. We are still somewhat opening a little bit flat this morning. So we want to watch to see what's going to happen with the overall market. We're looking at the SPY on the 4 hour. Looking at over here, we're still below that SMA. Biden and Powell failed to get us above that 441, which is going to be a difficult situation. Reason being, 441 is that SMA, which has acted as resistance when the stock is basically below it. So we need to get above 441. We can see that we basically tried to get above it before, and we have failed to get above that SMA. So not only with SPY, but if you look at a lot of key stocks, even look at them on the 20-day, you can see a lot of them are basically floating right at the breaking point. This is Facebook. Apple is right below the 20-day SMA or trying to get above it this morning. Amazon as well too. If we look at Amazon, right below that 20-day SMA. So a lot of stocks are in a major resistance zone. So we got to see what's going to happen overall to see if we're going to continue this brief uptrend that we had. So definitely want to be cautious. You can see we're already getting one red candle already. MACD is crossed up on the 180-day. We are above the trade line. So if this gets violated and we break 435, we could basically start dropping down towards 430 and a lot lower, especially if a lot of stock are struggling to see the volume they need to continue uptrend. So yesterday, Powell did speak. He said that he's going to be slowing down on the easing, which the market seemed to like, but they didn't like it enough to get it above the SMA. So watch to see if we get above 441 today. Once we get above 441, we can start pushing up towards 445, maybe even 450s, especially the way this market's been moving. So definitely keep an eye on that and watch to see if this 180-day crosses over. Make sure you set your alerts. On the downside, we definitely got to watch to see if we start to fall. If we test that 20-day SMA, which is sitting around 430, you can see that 441 area being retested multiple times and we struggle to get above it. 20-day is actually crossed down right now and we are basically below that 20-day trade line. I'm just going to throw a line right here and change the color to orange. This way I know when I'm day trading that if we're below or above that 20-day trade line. So that tends to help me as well. Jumping over towards the next stock, and we don't really have a long watch list, especially since stocks didn't really make any crazy move overnight, but we're still looking at Tesla. Tesla's over here looking like it's forming some type of wedge pattern. Unlike the other stocks, Tesla is above the 20-day SMA, kind of like the SPY. So we want to see if Tesla's going to hold these levels. Tesla's going sideways over here. So let's see if it continues this upward trend that it has over here. 180-day is crossed up. RSI basically has room to do either or, more for the downside than upside. But I think if we basically continue to push up on this wedge, we could possibly break that 889 and basically start going up towards like 919, 914 areas. If not, Tesla falls with the overall market today. Watch for the break of 867. Then we can start basically coming back down towards 850, maybe even retesting those 837s, depending on what kind of day we get. So the market's looking for some type of direction. It was bullish, but we're hitting some resistance levels. Without the news and the volume, we could see some possible downside. So keep that in mind and not to rush into any trade that you see. Make sure you guys are looking at those larger charts. Last but not least, I did want to throw one of the bank stocks in here. We're looking at JP Morgan. JP Morgan is oversold on the RSI over here, looking like a good possible bounce play. You can see if we break this 139 level, we could start basically going up towards 135. So watch out for that as well. And if we start to come back down, watch for that 138, and then we could start coming back down towards those 134 levels. Last but not least, I wanted to throw oil stock. Actually, this is USO. So looking at USO, oil prices are going through the roof. I never seen such a bullish chart. So look at it at this. You can see we went from 43. We're at 78 right now. And not only that, if we jump over towards maybe like a 5-year chart, it looks like a possible gap fill pattern. If we're looking at it over here, it looks like it wants to go back up towards those 100 levels. So watch that oil price, even though it's overbought. This is basically a commodity that if there's not that much oil available, that this will basically continue to go up. So watch to see how this moves. We already broke the 1-year lows. Highs. We already broke the 180-day highs. We already broke, we're approaching 3-year highs over here. So watch to see how we affect this level, this $76 level, and it's optionable. So that's a cool part. It's optionable. So if you see any type of crossover going up on this chart over here, you can see pretty much any crossover on the 5-minute chart over here was money. You can see 5-minute crossover over here, good uptrend, right? So even if you want to look at the 10-minute, right, you want more security in your trade, you want to make sure it's definitely going in that way. Look at the 10-minute crossover, strong 10-minute crossover on the MACD. You can see a straight upward trend over here, right? Every crossover, good upward trend. So definitely want to look at the charts, definitely want to keep this in mind, especially as Russia's in war with Ukraine. I could only see some possible more upside with this one. It is a little bit more on the overbought side. So just like anything, just because it's overbought, just because it has news, make sure you use a stop loss, right? Make sure you guys follow the charts, and I'll see you guys in the chat room later.